Hello everyone, I'm Heather. Hi. I have come with book recommendations for Shorty September. Okay, Shorty September, it is books that are 200 to 250 pages-ish and fewer, and we're reading all the shorties for September. There are prompts as well if you're feeling crazy. All that stuff, I'm going to put it below, okay? So I said that I would come back and I would try to give book recommendations for books that I really liked that would fit the prompts, just in case like you really want to do the prompts, but you're stuck on a couple of them. I wanted to do a couple books per prompt, but my god, that would make a very long video, especially as I like to ramble. So I've just done one book per prompt, and I'm going to try to go through them like lightning. The first one, Crochet Shorts. This is a book that's published by an independent publisher, and I've got Eastbound by Melis de Carangal. This publisher is like Les Fugitives, I think, and I'm pretty sure that that is an independent publisher. So this one, I was sleeping on this one. I'd never heard of it, and I randomly found it in the library, and I'm so glad that I did, because it's got like a bit of a cult following. It's about this Russian military conscript guy who is on his way to join the army on the Trans-Siberian sort of train journey. And he sort of just gets a random thought in his head at the minute, like on a whim. He's like, actually, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to Siberia. I don't want to be in the military. And he tries to just sort of jump it and go AWOL. And he's about to get caught, but there's this tourist, this French tourist woman, a sort of older woman, like middle-aged woman. He's quite young. She sees what he's doing, and she gets in her mind a bit of a whim as well to help him escape. And as well, there's this person who works on the train who also helps this kid to escape his like conscription. And it's really like a slow burn, like not a lot, I guess, happens. Like, it is like a bit of a thriller. You're a bit on the edge of your seat, like, is he gonna get caught? But it's not like dun 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 like a movie, you know what I mean? It's like a slow burn thriller, like more sort of beautiful and poetic, like imagery and everything. That sort of sets it apart. I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's a weird one, but it was so good. Afterwards I was like, oh, that was so good. Okay, so Hometown Shorts. This is a book that's like local to you, local author, local setting. So I can't really give you anything unless you're in Wales or in like the sort of Washington State area, like my two sort of places. The Wales book that I have is Engines Beneath Us, which is like this dystopian sort of book, which is about this kid who joins a community that's very like doesn't ask questions, follows the rules. Like, there are very specific rules. You have to behave this exact way, and anything you see that's weird, you can't acknowledge it, and you can't act in any way that's outside of what is required of you. And this kid, he like moves there, and he wasn't raised in the community, and he's different. He starts asking questions about like crazy stuff that's happening, and this kid that he meets in the community is like, shh, I don't know what you're talking about, stop. And there are consequences for him like being different and asking questions. Weird, so weird, but so good. Okay, and then the Washington State one is called Delphine. It's actually a graphic novel, but it's published by Fantagraphics Books or something, which is like a Seattle-based publisher. Okay, so it's a graphic novel, and it's based on really this idea of like Prince Charming's viewpoint of Snow White and how it would be told by him, but it's like a sort of like black and white, sort of like dark sort of noir feeling of like these creepy woods and like creepy stuff that happens in the woods, and he's sort of like looking for this girl, he's chasing this girl, and all he has to go on is sort of like a quickly scribbled note, you know. It's kind of creepy, like, it's really good. Okay, Zip Off Shorts. This is like nature writing, or just very a naturey setting, like a book set sort of outside and stuff. And I was thinking for this, Clear by Harris Davis, who is a Welsh author. But the book is about this Scottish island during the Highland clearances, when they sort of were going through and throwing sort of rural farmers off the land. this guy, he has volunteered, or he's like being paid, but he's like signed up to go to this really remote Scottish island and kick off the very last person living there. It's so remote that this guy speaks a language that no one else speaks. He's like the last speaker of this language. And this guy who's going there to throw him off the island also doesn't speak it. But he has an accident when he first gets there, so he's not able to sort of like burst in and go, get off, you know, like he's laid up in this guy's hut for ages, like just like recuperating and everything and learning his language. And they grow really close. And he's like thinking, oh crap, how do I tell this guy that everything he loves here on the island, all of his animals, everything, like it has to go. In the midst of all this that's happening, like you get really beautiful descriptions of their growing relationship, but also like of the wild island, like the windswept sort of feature of it, like the coastal feature of it, all of the animals and everything. So it's really good, like nature writing in that way. Do you know what I mean? So good. Like the ending, I'm not going to tell you anything about the ending, but if you read this one and you have thoughts about the ending, you should let me know, because like I also have thoughts. Do you know what I mean? Okay, Postal shorts. This one is to read a book set in a country that you'd like to have a pen pal in. Like I obviously can't like know what country you're thinking of already, but if it's Iceland, I got one for you. Okay, it's Hotel Silence, and it's this guy who lives in Iceland and it's going bad for him. Like his job's not great, his family life isn't great. Like he's decided to sort of end it all, if you know what I mean. Okay, but he realizes he can't really do it in the setting that he's in, because what if like his daughter is the one that finds him and stuff like that. There's like no way for him to like protect his family all the way from like what he's thinking of doing. So he decides instead to like go to this really far away, like war-torn, dangerous country. Like, and he's like, oh, maybe I'll just die there. Like by misadventure, someone will just shoot me in the road and then it'll be over, you know. And if anything, I can at least, you know, sort of like end it in a way that's not going to hurt my family. But he goes to this place and becomes like the only guy with tools, like because he just randomly like he's like, well, I'll just bring my tools with me. I don't know, like it's the only thing I have. Like I want to have the tools with me when I go. He's the only guy with tools or expertise, and he becomes like, you know, the only man in the village who can sort of build things back up. Like it's sort of like war ravaged, you know. Everyone needs chairs and things fixed or whatever, and he becomes like, you know, the king of this place. He's really in demand. People love him, you know, and he's found like this purpose, you know, and this desire to live that he didn't have at home. And he's like, actually, maybe I won't end anything. Maybe I'll just live here forever. Like, you know, I found a new lease to my life. Anyway, so good. Okay, hairy shorts, right? This is a prompt that we made in honor of my dog, Maisie, that's just died. And I feel like she was very cool. She was a very chill character. And if she was gonna like recommend like a book to me, okay, she might have recommended this one, which is called The Guest Cat. Okay, and it's like translated from Japanese, right? And it's this couple who live like in Tokyo or whatever, and they're not getting along very well. Like they find that they don't really have anything to talk about anymore. Like they're sort of like coming to a natural end of their relationship or something. But then this cat who lives somewhere in the neighborhood, he just sort of like pops into their house and they're like, what the hell? You know, and they sort of feed the cat or whatever, and then it goes away and they're like, oh, that was delightful. And then it comes back again, and it comes back so often that it becomes like their cat, and they bond with each other and with the cat. And it's lovely. It's just the loveliest sort of like situation. I will say, loads of times right before I read a book that has an animal main character, I like to go to this website that's like, does the dog die? Or something is what it's called. Before I watch any movie or read any book or anything like that, I need to know if that animal dies. Like, I maybe will still watch it or read it or whatever, but like I need to know. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a chance now. If you don't want a massive spoiler for this book, I'm gonna give you like a buffer, you know, like boo-doo-doo. Switch it off now, okay? Boo-doo, if you don't want the spoiler. Boo-doo-doo, boo-doo-doo-doo. Okay, the cat dies. And it's sad. It's so sad. Just so you know, okay? But it's still worth it because it was beautiful. Okay, but just know that. Okay, spoiler over. Okay, cargo shorts. This is a book that's helpful in a pickle. Okay, I don't know what we mean by that. I often don't know what we mean by anything because we're very complex people. But I'm taking it as, okay, like I suppose you could do like desert island discs sort of idea. Like if you were stranded on a desert island, what book would you want to have with you, you know? But I've taken it more as like, if something goes down, right? If like a serious situation goes down, like I want like a manual or something, you know? So I was thinking maybe mudlarking. It's a book about mudlarking on the Thames. So this is something that people used to do in like 1800s when they were really poor and desperate, you know? They were just looking for any bits of stuff in the River Thames. Like people have lived on that river for thousands of years. So there is thousands of years worth of people's trash and like random bits of crap just in the river if you look hard enough. So this woman, like what's her name? Laura Makelum, I think. So she does a lot of like radio programs, or she does like Radio 4 things, or she does some things on like BBC where she talks about the things that she finds. Like she's also talks a lot about like the history behind like various bits of things that she finds. And I thought, you know, if everything goes to crap and I need to like have a fallback career, you know, something that's going to make me some money, I could always just dig into the river, right? Like find some really useful crap, really valuable crap that's going to really help me get back on my feet, you know? Anyway, this book is some of the things she's found and like the history behind some of the things. Anyway, okay, ripped shorts. This is like thriller, horror, mystery, like that kind of vibe, you know, like a dun-dun-dun vibe. And I am going to say The Hotel by Daisy Johnson. It was so good. It was so good. It was like low level creepy, I'd say. Like not scary, like, you know, but just like unsettling. Okay, and it's about this hotel and the various like lives of the hotel. So like from it before it was a hotel, just the land, and then as it was being built, and then as like the first part of its life as a hotel and this like room 63, and then the second part of its life as a hotel where it turns into like a building that's used for something else, and it's a bunch of different stories based on those stages. Like the people, like there's a woman who's helping to build the hotel, there's a woman who lives on the land just in a farmhouse before the land has a hotel on it, and there's a woman who's working at the hotel later on, and they're telling these stories about things that are happening to them on this land or in this hotel, and like things they've seen, and just sort of based on this like haunted / cursed land. And it's good, so creepy, so good. Like Daisy Johnson, she's such a good author. Like I read other things that she's written and they weren't creepy, they were just like, you know, normal books, and they were also brilliant. She's a fantastic author. Okay, Denim shorts. This is a modern classic, okay? And I don't know what's wrong with me. Like all of the best modern classics I can think of recently are kids books, like kids modern classics, okay? But like, stay with me here, okay? Because I'm gonna go with Mrs. From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Baisley Frankweiler. Has anyone read this book? Okay, it's absolutely amazing. I think it's like a Newbery Award winner or something from the 60s. I read it when I was a kid, and it led to me having such a serious obsession with spending a night in the library that I very recently made my kid do it. Like they had this like sleepover night at the National Museum Wales, and you could like sleep amongst the exhibits and everything, and like have breakfast there and like watch a movie there and stuff. But the only night that I could get was dinosaur night. And like neither me nor my kid are super into dinosaurs. Like we are not into dinosaurs, and we still did it because I needed to go and spend the night in the museum. And it's because of this book. I read this when I was about like 9-10 years old or something. It's about these two kids. So this girl and her little brother, they run away from home to like teach their parents a lesson about like valuing them properly. Do you know what I mean? Like this. And they live in the museum for like a week or whatever. They sleep there. They hide from the guards. They learn about all the different things in the museum. Like they just have a million different like micro adventures in the museum. They take baths in the fountain with like all the pennies, like the wishing pennies under their feet. It's brilliant. It's such a good. And then they meet this old woman afterwards, this like Mrs. Baisley Frankweiler, whatever, and she just schools them about life. She sees them come in. She knows that it looks deep into their souls, teaches them about life. So good. Okay, half and half shorts. So this is, you read the book and then you watch the movie adaptation of that book, okay? I'm gonna go with The Body by Stephen King. Like, I freaking love Stephen King. I think more sort of 20th century Stephen King is my vibe. Like, as soon as it sort of gets into the 2000s and sort of later, like, he sort of loses the appeal for me. But everything before that, like, I stan him. I stan old Stephen King 100%. And the body, so good. It's like, it was originally part of like a novella collection, but now they're publishing it by itself, so I'm gonna count it. And it spawned the movie Stand By Me. Basically, these 4 kids in the 60s, they're best friends, and they hear that there's a dead body in the woods, but it's like several miles away, and the only way for them to get there is to walk there. So they, all of them, like, lie to their parents about how they're spending the night at each other's houses, and then they take bedrolls out into the woods, and they walk for days to try to go and see this dead body before people find it or pick it up or anything happens to it, you know? But it's very, like, I guess, like, coming of age, you know, in that way. But also, just Stephen King is such a good writer. Like, he gets dialogue really well, especially like 1960s boy kid dialogue, because obviously he was that, you know, so I mean, who better to nail it? But apart from the book being really good, the movie's also really good. It's so good. It's like 80s. You've probably seen it, but you should watch it again if you have, because it's a good one. It's a good one. Okay, Runway fashion shorts. So this is a translated book, translated from any language to any language. We don't care. But I'm gonna say The Night of Baba Yaga, which is a Japanese book translated into English. And it's about this woman who's like a killer fighter, right? But she's sort of looked down upon in Japanese society because she's like half Japanese, half something else. Which, when you sort of like listen to the sort of clues and everything in the book, it seems like she might be sort of part Russian or part Polish or something like that as well. But she's very tall and muscular, you know, for the Japanese, and they're like, what is wrong with you? Like that. But she gets in a scrap with the Yakuza. They come for her, and she gives them such hell. Like, they finally get her in, but she gives them such hell to get her in that the boss is like, you know, respect on you. You are gonna be my daughter's bodyguard. So then she's sort of like trying to navigate being part of this like gang and watch over the daughter, and she gets a strong sort of relationship with the daughter. And you have these two like competing storylines that sort of like switch between each other without a lot of explanation. So you have that storyline, and then you also have these two people that are sort of on the run, but you don't know who they are and how they're related to this other storyline until sort of the end. But the bad guys in this, I will just say, the bad guys, she's teaching them a lesson because she's a badass. Ain't nobody gonna treat their daughters badly and just get away in this book. Like, this girl, she's gonna come for you. Sleep with your eyes open, bro. Okay, the next one is Elton John's wedding shorts. And this one is to read a book that's outrageous, because we deserve it. And you can read into outrageous however you want, you know, like outrageously bad, outrageously expensive, you know, outrageously sexy, like, I don't know, whatever you want to do, okay? But I'm gonna go with Patricia Wants to Cuddle, and the cover of this book has a massive hairy arm in it, so I feel like it's not giving anything away to tell you that there is like a Bigfoot, like Sasquatch situation involved here, but the basic storyline is it's these women and they're on The Catch. It's like a dating TV show. It's like The Bachelor, but it's in the woods, and they've like got tents and everything like that. But they go up to this like island up in the woods, and they're camping, and they start getting picked off, you know, like disappear / dismembered. Sorry, it's not funny. It's very scary, but also super funny. And it, you know, you don't get the full idea of why it is that these women are going missing or like being murdered till the very end. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but just remember the hand. Anyway, like, the explanation of this book says it's like a scathing indictment of like American media culture, which I'm for, you know, it can have like deeper meanings, you know, as well. It's got like LGBTQ plus sort of like, you know, coziness in it, but really, if you wanted to just not go below the surface or anything like that, you just wanted to read it for the lulz, it's good. It's very good. It's also like a kind of romantic. There's like a bit of like a love connection in it, which I enjoyed. Do you know what I mean? Okay, last one is Patchwork shorts, and this is like a blend of genres. We got multiple genres in here, very distinct, okay? I'm gonna go with Age of Calamities, because this one is, okay, short stories that are sort of like on a theme, like a feminist theme, like a historical fiction sort of theme, magical realism thing as well. Like one of the stories is Anne Boleyn is killed by the king, but doesn't die, or like she dies and like regenerates. She comes back, and then she goes into the castle and she sees the king and she's like, that was fucking stupid, and just like gets in bed next to him like, don't do it again, you know. But then he does do it again because his aim is to have her dead, you know. And they're trying to keep killing her and she keeps coming back to life, and they keep killing her and she keeps coming back to life. Do you know what I mean? Another one is like a sort of time travel type situation where it's this house in like a limbo, where all of these historically prominent people have been brought there by like the magician or like the time traveler guy, this professor guy. It's like Marilyn Monroe, John Adams, like I think Nefertiti, you know, and they're sort of like just in these rooms talking and everything. It's just really clever stories, like written really well as well, like not just clever in how they like their plot and everything, but cleverly written as well. I think probably this author, Sena Ahmed, this is the only book that I've ever read by that author, but I think I'm going to try to find some other ones. Like, I feel like she's brilliant. Alright, that's the end of my recommendations, but Marcella and Karen and I, we are like cooking up a tag idea, okay? Like it's in its infancy, so we don't know about it yet, but it may or may not include other recommendations, like as a tag to get everyone's recommendations. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I've said too much. We have to sort of hash out the details first. But we'll be out with that soon. And then it's Shorty September, kicking off like next week. I'm so excited. Okay, if you have any questions, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this. I love you so much. If you have any questions, please let me know. How is your TBR building going? Are you doing well with it? Can I know what they are? Because I may also just still change mine. It's always in flux. Okay. Also, how's your day? That's it. Okay, I gotta go right now. Dinner straight away. And I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.